As Tim and Mike mentioned, that pressing issue of taking penalties continued for Robert Morris last night. They averaged 13 penalty minutes per game, which is 10th in the entire country, allowing an Arizona State power play, which boasts its own top 10 unit in the country, get on the power play. Matthew Copperroot scored twice last night on the man advantage, his 7th and 8th power play goals of the season, which is tops in the country. So the Colonials are looking to limit that tonight and keep Copperroot off the power play. When it comes to picking an impact player for this rivalry matchup between Syracuse and Robert Morris, let's look no further than someone who's been on both sides of the matchup, and that's none other than Madison Primo. Last year she was part of the Orange. This year she's part of the Colonials. Now, yesterday she was held off the score sheet but did factor in on 4 shots. Now, last week against Mercyhurst, head coach Logan Biddle elevated her from the third line to the top unit. In Game 2 against the Lakers, she pumped in 2 goals, and she's looking to do much of the same today versus her former team in the Syracuse Orange. And when dissecting this Robert Morris roster, it is no secret that there is a lot of youth sprinkled into the lineup. 6 freshmen make up the top 9 forwards, including an all-freshman first line. The most freshman-heavy team that Derek Scully has ever coached in his 18 years with the Colonial program. For comparison, in tonight's lineup, RMU boasts 9 freshmen compared to just 4 for the Purple Eagles. And despite the struggles early this season, there's a lot of optimism with this young group for the Colonials, and some of that was witnessed when Walter Zacher scored his first career goal against RIT on Saturday. Zacher is a guy the Colonials expect to score a lot of goals in his career, and he finally found one on the way to potentially many, and just like Riley St. Onge tonight, he finally got that monkey off his back. Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. And now the Robert Morris softball team is in the thick of their conference play, and they look to steal a midweek clash against the Youngstown State Penguins, which happens to be the conference leader. So let's take a look how they fared in Game 1 of the 3-game set. Now, Robert Morris falls in extra innings in the 8th inning to the Penguins as Conchetta Rinaldi singled down the right field line to bring home Sarah Fessler. And the Colonials were up 5-2 in this game, but the Penguins battled back, and hey, at least one nearby Penguins team knows how to mount a comeback, but I digress. During the holiday seasons, a lot of these college athletes are stuck on campus, so head coach Derek Scully has continued the tradition of welcoming his team into his home in Moon Township for the Thanksgiving dinner. And a lot of credit has to go to his wife for cooking all the food. 2.5 turkeys were prepared for this team. Multiple neighbors letting them use their stove to help cook all the meals, and Derek Scully wanted to make sure they talked about being thankful for this process they're going through with the rebuild of this team. Yes, they may have had a rough first 2 months on this rebuild, but they had talked about being thankful through this entire process, and he wanted to make sure everyone on his team went up to another teammate and told them how thankful they were for each other. It was a beautiful day here at the North Athletic Complex as RMU softball welcomed in crosstown foe, the Pitt Panthers, for some midweek non-conference action as the Colonials were looking to add to their 2-game winning streak against the Panthers. 2 games in 3 days is always tough this time of year for the Colonials. Now, the Colonials did practice yesterday, but they had a little bit of a lighter workload, but Coach Biscaglia said they had an extra emphasis on staying focused this time of year. Another area they need to focus on is from beyond the arc. 3 for 18 against Northern Kentucky on Thursday. This evening's matchup between Robert Morris and Niagara marks the 76th all-time meeting between the 2 programs, and it is Robert Morris's most commonly played opponent. Now, if you remember the last time these 2 programs met in this building, it was the 2021 Atlantic Hockey quarterfinals playoff series. Robert Morris got out to a 1-0 series lead in a thrilling overtime victory, and if you all remember, Cammie Bear with the dazzling diving effort to chip over to Darcy Walsh, who scored the overtime winner and literally ran out of the building after that goal. Now the next 2 games would be stolen by Niagara and the Colonials' current goaltender, Chad Veltri, who made a total of 120 saves in that series versus Robert Morris. Now, the men's lacrosse team was also in action this past week with a midweek tilt against the Bellarmine Knights, a team that has been night and day since last season, coming in to take on the Colonials in a must-win situation for Robert Morris. Let's head to the highlights. Big one on tap for the Colonials against the Bellarmine Knights, and we start here in the first quarter. The Colonials were off and running early. Great ball movement. Elliot Holden finds Tiger Clark. Liam Keane with a huge goal to start things for the Colonials against Dante Batista, coming off of a ASUN Defensive Player of the Week. Now this guy you'll see a couple times, Kyle Playstead, one of the best players in the nation, beats Nate Randall with coming out from behind the net with a nice little spinning goal for the Knights. Now second goal. You might have seen this one already on your TVs for SportsCenter. David Burr leaning in behind the back goal, puts it on a string to beat Batista. And we'll take a look at it again in a moment, but David Burr has been a huge addition for the Colonials, transferring from Rutgers, second on the team in goal scoring. Wow, just look at that shot for the Colonials. Now heading towards the third quarter, Colonials up 13-9, but don't count the Bellarmine Knights out. Playstead, another goal coming out from behind the net. He has 62 points. He's tied for the lead across the nation in points. Now the Colonials there get another one. Taggart Clark, he had 4 assists in the first quarter, but finally gets a goal there in the second half. So that playmaker finally getting on the board for the Colonials. Now we go towards the fourth quarter. Coming in, we'll see some more tremendous ball movement. Lidstone down to Burr, and there is Keen Moon finishing it off, 17-11, and the Colonials are hyped. Big time game for Robert Morris against the Bellarmine Knights. And you know what's nothing better than a long stick defender goal. There's Owen down, walking down the field like a boss. And he fires it past J.C. Higginbotham, who came in for relief. Colonials win 21-13.